Hi everyone, and Aishwarya here. Today's video is all about Industrial Revolution. During the second half of the 18th century and the first half of the 19th century, British industry underwent great changes. These changes were so remarkable that the term Industrial Revolution has been applied to them. The word revolution has the connotation of suddenness and violence. But the term revolution also implies fundamental change. It is in this second sense that the term is applicable to the English industries because there was fundamental and drastic changes in the industrial methods of England. Before the Industrial Revolution, goods were produced in limited quantities by human hands in the houses of the workers, but after the revolution, goods were produced in large quantities by machines in factories. The Industrial Revolution started in Great Britain earlier than in other European countries, chiefly because of the political and financial stability which she enjoyed after the Glorious Revolution. It is true that England was involved in most of the wars of 18th century, but they were all fought outside on the continent or elsewhere. The fact that England was freedom from foreign invasion also contributed to the industrial development of the country. There was an accumulation of capital which was available for investment in industry due to the profit made by the trading companies. Capital was accumulated also as a result of abstinence and frugality practiced from religious motives by people like Puritans. Great Britain's geographical position was peculiarly suitable for world trade, as no part of the world was inaccessible to her ships. Her coastline afforded excellent harbors, and her many navigable rivers offered means of internal communications. Her climate was invigorating and promoted habits of industry. Natural resources were abundant, and vast supplies of coal and iron in close proximity to each other and to the coast were vital to industrial development. Importance of textile in Industrial Revolution. During the Industrial Revolution, textile, coal and iron industries and transportation underwent a thorough change. Before the Industrial Revolution, textile work was done in the cottages by people who were also engaged in agriculture, and it was done by hand or with the help of hand-worked implements. In this cottage textile work, men, women and children were all engaged. Carding of the fiber was undertaken by the children, and the straightened fiber of wool or cotton was spun into continuous yarn by women. Weaving on handloom was usually done by men. The supplementary process such as dyeing or bleaching, fulling, printing and finishing were carried on in establishment maintained by the clothier. The system had many defects. The worst defect was that production was deplorably slow and could not meet the ever-increasing demand abroad for English textile goods. Some change, therefore, was necessary in the method of spinning if production was to be increased. In the course of time, a series of inventions brought about an entire transformation of the textile industry. Mechanical invention in Industrial Revolution. The first mechanical invention to be made was the flying shuttle by John Kay in 1733. The mechanism enabled clothes of any width to be made by a single weaver, and also doubled the piece at which the weaving could be done. To keep the weavers engaged, they had to be supplied with a sufficient quantity of yarn. Attention was therefore turned to the question of spinning, and in 1764 a carpenter named James Hargreaves made the spinning jenny, which speeded up the making of yarn. In 1769 a still better machine was invented by Richard Arkwright, a barber. Arkwright put his machine to use with water power, and so it became known as the water frame. Its great advantage over the spinning jenny was that it produced stronger yarn. In 1779, Samuel Crompton combined the jenny and the water frame in his mule and added the contrivance to prevent the frequent breaking of yarn which occurred when spinning with the jenny. The result was that yarn much finer and stronger could be produced. The power loom made by Edmund Cartwright in 1785 helped to increase the speed of weaving. And next is development of iron. By the middle of 18th century, there was an increased use of iron. In 1779, the world's first iron bridge was made spanning the river Severn. The development of iron trade was closely associated with the coal industry because a new method of smelting iron with coal was devised. The great development in the iron and coal industry took place in the earlier 19th century in places like South Wales, South Yorkshire and Tyneside region where coal and iron were found together, either near the sea or with easy access to it by river or canal. Inventions connected with this trade were made by people like Newcomen and James Watt. In 1705, Newcomen created a steam engine to pump water out of coal mines. Later in 1763, young mathematical instrument maker named James Watt perfected these steam engines. Next subtopic is transportation. The revolution took place in transportation also. Before the revolution, there was no effective highway authority, and most foolishly the upkeep of high roads was entrusted to the parish. Naturally enough, the roads were in very bad condition. As a result of industrial revolution, when goods were produced on larger scale, the need was felt for transporting goods to cities and seaports. After 1750, hundreds of roads acts were passed and many turnpike trustees formed. Telford made many miles of good roads and many large towns were reached by coaches. In 1815, Macadam taught the art of road draining and perfected the surface of road. By 1840, there were 22,000 miles of good turnpike roads in England with nearly 80,000 toll gates. The improvement of inland navigation. The improvement of inland navigation was as important as the improvement of roads in opening the way to industrial change. The first half of the 18th century had been a period of much activity in deepening the navigable rivers. The second half of the century saw the construction of new artificial waterways. The Duke of Bridgewater, who is known as the father of inland navigation, connected his collieries with Manchester by canal. The canal movement began in the rapidly developing industrial region of South Yorkshire and West Midlands and soon spread over the whole country. The canals and the turnpike roads did more than stimulate the exchange of goods inside the island. They also hastened the growth of overseas trade. Goods were distributed in much greater quantities throughout the length and breadth of the country. And the next important transportation is railway. George Stephenson invented the first locomotive and the first railway line between Stockton and Darlington was opened in 1825. Liverpool and Manchester were linked by railway in 1830, London and Birmingham in 1838. Steam was also used for water transport. The first successful steamboat in Europe was Bell's Comet, which began to run between Glasgow and Greenock in 1812. A service was established between Dublin and Holyhead in 1820. The first steamboat reached Liverpool from America in 1825 and two vessels steamed out from the British Isles to New York in 1838. Since that time, there has been remarkable progress in all matters connected with the ocean navigation. And finally, we came to conclusion. The Industrial Revolution had good as well as bad results. During the period of Industrial Revolution, the population of England increased to a very great extent. It is estimated that in 1710 the population of England was 5.5 millions. But by 1750 it had increased to 6 millions. During the next 50 years, there was an increase of 50%. Thus, the census of 1801 revealed a population of 9 millions. This was again doubled by 1851 and doubled again by 1901. Many new industries towns like Sheffield, Birmingham and Manchester and Leeds developed with startling rapidly. The people clustered together in these smoky towns where lack of proper sanitation caused many kinds of disease. The Industrial Revolution had yet another bad result. Although the new methods led to greatly increased wealth, that did not always lead to greater comfort and happiness. The old personal relations of the employer and employee, which in early days had kept master and worker on fairly friendly terms, now disappeared in many cases. This does not mean that the Industrial Revolution was without good results. In the first place, England became the workshop of world. The production of goods on a large scale paved the way for fall in prices. This led to increased demand for goods and in the end there was employment for more people. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Answer the questions and your feedback is important to me, so feel free to share your thoughts in comments below. Thank you for watching. Bye.